In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Peace be with you.
And with your spirit.
May the God whom we glorify with one heart and voice enable us through the Spirit to live in harmony as followers of Christ Jesus, now and forever. When Christ took flesh through the Blessed Virgin Mary, he made his home with us. Let us now pray that he will enter this home and bless it with his presence. May he always be here among you. May he nurture your love for each other, share in your joys and peace, comfort you in your sorrows. Inspired by his teachings and example, seek to make your new home before all else a dwelling place of love, diffusing far and wide in the temptation, but deliver us from evil. Let this water call to mind our baptism into Christ, who has redeemed us by his death and resurrection.
There shall be showers of blessings.
This is a promise of love.
There shall be seasons refreshing.
Strengthen the Savior above. Showers of blessings. Showers of blessings we need. Mercy crossing, but for the showers we need.
All together. Come. No, you hold it.
As well as the faculty, a unique opportunity to showcase their innate potential and inborn talent. We, the Franciscans, do hope to celebrate this day with style, creativity, entertainment, imparting a lasting message.
Soon the stage on which we stand will be set ablaze by the Franciscans.
But not before the dignitaries are felicitated. Hold on your excitement.
May I request our principal, Brother Edmund Lemos, to honor the dignitaries with shawl, potted plant, and memento.
Lifting our hands to you. Here we are, giving you thanks for all you do. As we pray and worship your holy name.
and nurturing environment, instilling enthusiasm in students and stimulating their intellectual curiosity and creativity. It aims to promote within students a lifelong passion for learning and exploration. We all are aware that the success of any educational institution depends on all collective effort, namely the students, parents, staff, and collaborators under a close supervision and guidance of the principal.
The principal is the driving force who manages, coordinates, guides, and supervises various activities. It's our honor to have such a dynamic principal in Brother Edmund Lemos.
A word of hearty welcome is the sweetest of all things in life. A smile that radiates love to all the people around makes everyone happy.
May I request our principal, Brother Reverend Edmund Lemos, to accord a formal welcome to the gathering and thereafter to present a brief school annual report.
Honorable Chief Guest of the day, Advocate Carlos Alvarez Pereira, Provincial of the Franciscan Brothers of St. Francis Xavier Province, Reverend Brother Xavier Alexander, my friend and colleague and brother, Reverend Brother Giles, the Director of Vidyadip College, Bangalore, Sir Sabino, Sir Abraham Oman, Reverend Brother Robert D'Souza, the Manager and Administrator of St. Francis School, Reverend Brother John Pereira, the Manager of St. Anthony's High School, invitees, dignitaries, Reverend sisters, fathers, brothers, my dear parents, media persons, and well-wishers. St. Francis School, as it was announced, was established in 2019 after the closing down of St. Anthony's Orphanage. And this happened to be right before we could enter into a phase which was one of the hardest one for the entire world before we could experience pandemic. And therefore, we began in 2019, and one year we had regular classes, and thereafter for 2 years it was online. And this academic year we began again the physical classes. It's my honor and privilege to present before this August gathering a brief report of St. Francis School, Duler, of the ongoing academic year 2022-2023. It was mid-November 2019 that the world began to face a new, unprecedented and huge challenge, the onset of COVID-19 pandemic. We have traveled almost 3 years now since the time pandemic had put a halt in this buzzing world. It is wonderful to see you all gathered in such a large number to celebrate first ever annual day of St. Francis School. I know all the parents are eagerly waiting to see the performance of their beloved children. But before we move on to the cultural program, I would like to apprise you all about our academic and non-academic happenings and events through this report. However, my first priority goes to welcome you all for this annual function. We are indeed privileged to have Advocate Carlos Alvarez Ferreira as the chief guest of this annual function. Sir Carlos Eugenio da Costa Alvarez Ferreira, also known as Advocate Carlos Ferreira, is a senior Indian lawyer who practices in the Bombay High Court in Goa and at the Apex Court, the Supreme Court in Delhi. He has been one of the youngest serving Advocate Generals in Indian history. He has also held the positions of the State Public Prosecutor in the Bombay High Court in Goa and has also served as the Assistant Solicitor General of India under the Indian National Congress headed by the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh from 2004 to 2014. Carlos was born in Panjim, Goa on 25th June 1966. His father, Charles Ferreira Alvarez, was a banker who later went on to become a lawyer and a homeopathic doctor. He did his schooling from Loyola School in Margao and then went on to pursue arts at Parvatibai Chogle College. Following that, he pursued his law degree from Karye Law College in Margao. He also served as a legal advisor to the then Governor of Goa, Maharashtra and Odisha Supreme Court S.C. Jamir. Carlos married his wife Natasha da Costa, daughter of late Brigadier Ian da Costa from Saligao in January 1995. They are blessed with two sons, Armando Ferreira Alvarez and Daniel Alvarez Ferreira. Carlos's career as a lawyer began in 1987 when he graduated from Karye Law College, where he practiced under his father for a while before completely disassociating and starting his practice in Panjim. Carlos also was the public prosecutor for the state of Goa under the then CM Digambar Kamath for the Indian National Congress. He is also an amazing pianist, and he is the regional coordinator for the Royal School of Music, London. Advocate Carlos is a staunch believer of propagating music, and he has always enabled children and people of all ages to take up music as an addition to their current curriculum to be able to shine across all over the world. He is truly a man of his words and a man of action. St. Francis School is indeed fortunate to have you, sir, in our midst for our annual day. I extend a warm and hearty welcome to you, dear sir. We have Reverend Brother Xavier Alexander as a guest of honor this evening. He has traveled all the way for the same, and he is leaving early morning for another annual day in Mumbai. So this is a run-up for the next annual day. Brother Xavier Alexander is known to me for past more than 40 years. And we used to run between the chairs. Okay. He was my provincial, then I became his provincial, then he became my provincial. Now I don't know, next may not be my chance. He is a well-known personality in our congregation as an educator, formator, learned man, prolific writer and reader with a master's degree in philosophy. And he began his life as a humble person at a very mature age. And that's how he was, with all respect, elevated to be the provincial once again. And as one of the best administrators that the congregation could ever have years back in Mumbai. And of course, off and on we have been meeting, because he also was a provincial of the Kerala province, when I also happened to be of Bangalore province. and we are quite admirers of each other. And that's how, when he wished me for my birthday, I just wrote a word saying that welcome for the annual day, and he says, I am there. And that's how early morning he landed here, traveling with a midnight flight. Thank you very much for being here, and hearty and brotherly, affectionate welcome to you, dear Brother Giles. We have other dignitaries sitting with us, Brother Robert, Brother John, Mr. Abraham, and a friend and parent of ours who is here. All of them have been part and parcel of this institute for quite a long time. But Mr. Abraham has been a past student of Mumbai school, and he has dropped in just for this function. I'm really glad to have you and his family. And all of you, dear friends, well-wishers, sisters, fathers, and you, dear parents, I invite you and well-wishers, and my darling ones who are going to come here shortly on the stage, dear students, to you all, to the media personnel, hearty and warm welcome to this evening's function. There are also principals from neighboring schools, religious houses, friends, and all those who have dropped in. We're indeed glad to have you, and wish you a very enjoyable and a pleasant evening. Welcome once again, one and all. We at St. Francis have been eagerly waiting during the pandemic to see the sight of our beloved students. And this is how our young students were welcomed to the school on 6th June 22, the first day of this academic year. One could notice the eagerness, enthusiasm, and joy on their faces. It is said that the world is not to be put in order. The world is in order. It is for us to put ourselves in unison with this order. St. Francis School celebrated the International Environment Day on 8th June 2022 with this thought in our mind. An informative skit was presented by the teachers to create awareness amongst the students about the importance of respecting the nature and environment and appreciating the gifts Mother Nature bestows upon each one of us. Poster making activities were conducted on the day to understand the students' awareness of protecting and preserving the environment. On 11th June 2022, St. Francis School had its first annual general meeting with parents to share the aims and objectives of the institute, to give important informations, and to discuss and plan matters concerning academic and non-academic plans in order to make our school a quality institute for learning and for holistic development of the students. At this meeting, PTA Executive Committee was formed. On 21st June 2022, International Yoga Day was celebrated. Students were given a talk on the importance of practicing yoga in a day-to-day life. A number of yoga asanas were also taught to the students of class 3, 5, and 6 for maintaining good health and personal well-being. To showcase the hidden talents, creativity, and public speaking skills of our students, show and tell competition was conducted on the 15th June 2022. The students indeed put up a lovely show. The school conducted its first unit test exam from 8th to 18th August 2022, followed by an interactive open day session with parents on 17th September 2022. This year, our beloved country India is celebrating its 75th independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Our school cherished the occasion of 15th August by hoisting the national flag, followed by a short cultural program with patriotic singing by the teachers and students. Speeches were given by students highlighting their love and patriotism towards our nation. Students were shown relevant videos on the day to highlight oneness of our nation. Ganesh Chaturthi is a major festival in Goa. St. Francis School too celebrated the festival in its own unique way. Students presented a skit depicting one incident from the life of Lord Ganesh, followed by singing of Aarti by teachers and students.
Reverend Provincial Brother Xavier Alexander, the Principal Reverend Brother Edmund Lemmer, Reverend Brother Abraham, Reverend Brother Giles, Reverend Brother John Pereira, Manager Reverend Brother Robert De Souza, PTA members, teachers, staff, Reverend Fathers, Reverend Sisters, parents, students, and my dear friends. Everyone, when you see the name St. Francis, we think of St. Francis Xavier. But I had a little suspicion, and my suspicion was right. When I walked down into the school and walking with Brother Lemos, I asked him, this St. Francis Xavier, which one is it? Because I know of St. Francis Xavier, St. Francis of Paul, St. Francis of Assisi, St. Francis, there's one more St. Francis also. Of Sales, St. Francis of Sales. So I was thinking of it, and he said it's St. Francis of Assisi. So I knew I'd hit the nail on the head. Now I want to say one thing before I give you a little talk. I won't say talk, but a few words. I have been to Assisi in Italy, and where St. Francis is buried on the top, and in the church, in the cathedral over there, he's buried at the foot. And I've been over there, it's very beautiful. But before even having gone to Italy, I already knew about St. Francis, because as you have heard, I'm a pianist and I play music. And there is a very famous pianist, composer, Franz Liszt, who has written two legends, two works. And one is St. Francis of Assisi preaching to the birds. And the other one is St. Francis of Paul walking on the waves. I play both of them. They're very difficult works. It took me years to learn them. But St. Francis, the story of it is, when they were walking, he saw some birds and he told his people, you wait, I will go and preach to the birds. And then he went and preached there. Not one bird flew out from the gathering. And so in respect, Franz Liszt, they would call him Abbot Liszt. He wrote these great works. I have been, as you have also heard, a product of the Jesuit school in Loyola. And every day, without fail, we would recite the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. If you ever hear that prayer, I don't know whether you'll recite it in the school over here every day, but if you hear that prayer, I think that kind of a prayer will be the summary, is the kind of a motto which we should live, the kind of a life which we can undertake, a kind of life I think we should showcase. And just for the benefit of everyone, I will just read it. It says, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. I'm reading it why? Because I think in today's world, these things are very important. Before I continue reading that, if you remember, there was even that poem of Rabindranath Tagore. And these are things which are essences of life. I will now read this. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. This Prayer, if you look at it, if you read it, if you listen to it, it doesn't speak of this God or that God. It is an universal prayer. And I think this is a universal motto that all of us can adopt. It's like asking, who is my neighbor? It doesn't have to be your actual neighbor. You can go and help out anyone in the world. What does it pay to be kind? And that is one of the fundamental things I have seen. In education, education is not just qualification. You come to my office, come to my house, I have not one certificate hanging on the wall. I believe you perform and you show. You perform or you perish. So it is this education which the institution is bringing forward. I did not get much time to speak to Father, but I've been paying a lot of attention to many details here. In this, you can see a motto. I think now they have taken off that screen. Your motto in that is encourage. I think somewhere else it is here. Encourage, educate, enlighten, and empower. These are 4 things. I have that philosophy in life that knowledge is power. And if you look at these 4 words, I can assure you that this school is definitely educating the children in the right direction. Even as we walked down, I saw one small sort of like a place they made to sit, which I would have called a gazebo, to allow the children to sit there for recreation, just maybe to set out their minds or whatever, relax over there. This is the type of education which we need, not just classroom in buildings, but we require education beyond these walls. And I'm very grateful that the Franciscan brothers have come here, because they are reputed institutions across India and the world, and they give you quality education. And you can be assured that though they have come out here in 2019 with COVID in between, from the report which we have heard just now, I can assure you that you will have something better which is coming up in the years ahead. Father, forgive me if I keep calling you for admissions for your schools. It is very encouraging to see that in a short span of time, your students have achieved great heights. And I'm sure you will be able to showcase them, because if we give children a platform to stand, a platform to overcome their fears, overcome stage fright, I think we will mold the children into better citizens for you and for me. Thank you very much.
Without the cooperation of the parents and the teachers, the management will be in an extremely difficult situation. Reason being, in the cities, we have educated parents, but they have no time to teach their children their words. Whereas in the villages, parents have enough and more time, but they do not know how to teach them, but especially in the central board syllabuses and other things. In this regard, your cooperation with the student, with your wards, and with the management and teachers is extremely important. I was principal of a junior college some years ago. One of the lecturers from the college came and told me, my son, when he was young, he used to come and sit with me, sit on my lap and ask doubts and questions, etc. Today now he is old, he doesn't even look at me. See, that is a transformation that taking place in the students. Today it is more. The school premises are being used by the antisocial element for many other things, even to turn against the students and teachers and parents. It's a big problem in most of the bigger schools. And here, the parent support and the teachers' collaboration with the management is extremely important to keep a certain amount of discipline and a right way of education. Our chief guest has spoken about the right education. Dr. Radhakrishnan says, the education, the heart of education is the education of the heart. The most important thing for any student while in their growing stage is that educate their own heart, be compassionate and kind to everything and everyone. Francis of Assisi was of that sort. He was kind and compassionate, and he saw everything as his own brothers and sisters, even the animate and inanimate things. When you establish a kind of relationship with the things around of that way, automatically your education has value. Otherwise, it is mere a certificate, mere a qualification to get into any of the jobs that are available in the country. So in the beginning itself, you need to instill in the minds of the youngsters that they need to develop these kind of qualities so as to, whom do we remember in the country? Those people who have a golden heart to appreciate and accept others, be kind and compassionate, like Mother Teresa, or APJ Abdul Kalam, Gandhiji, or many others. Not of their political power or anything of that sort. Anything that we achieve may not be of that, will not bring any credit to them unless these kind of qualities are brought into the heart. Head and heart should go together and grow together and mold into one. And the student should be many qualities rolled into one. This program that we have today is a theatrical programs. Is one of the developmental program for any student, because academics and the co-curricular activities are two wings of a person, which means both are to go together, grow together, so that everyone grow into a whole personality, a grown-up personality, a mature personality of every individual. I take this opportunity to thank Brother Principal and all of you.
Brother Peter Edmund Lemos, Managing Committee, PTA Executive Committee, invitees, teachers, parents, and students. I am privileged to propose the vote of thanks and to acknowledge the contribution of those who worked hard to make this annual day celebration a successful one. We all know this is the first annual gathering since the school established, and it surely did not happen overnight. The wheel started moving about a month ago, which required planning and a bird's eye for details. We have been fortunate to be supported by a team of very active and dedicated teachers, non-teaching staff, and parent volunteers who were well versed with their jobs. A special mention to our venerable principal, being the catalyst that inspired us to do our best and stand as a pillar of power. We just witnessed the formal part of the program, which revealed the academic and non-academic activities of the school. It indicates the focus of the management to the holistic development of the students. Soon, we will be witnessing the hidden talents of our children, for which we all have gathered for. I would like to thank our budding actors and rock stars who will make this event happen with their impressive performances. I'm sure the hard work of your days will be evident in your execution. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Advocate Carlos Alvarez Ferreira, and also our guest of honor, Reverend Brother Xavier Alexander, for their valuable time and kind words of wisdom. My deepest gratitude to Brother Giles, who has come all the way from Bangalore to witness our celebration. Also, a big thank you to all the principals of the neighboring schools and dear fathers, brothers, and sisters for their presence. I'm also grateful to our managing committee and the PTA members for being the backbone and the strength. I'm also thankful to all the sponsors who came forward in helping us to make this big day. Thank you, media, for capturing this event and also to the police personnel for providing us with security. Lastly, I would like to thank you, all the parents and well-wishers, for your encouragement. Peace is the part we take for bringing growth and prosperity to society. And here's wishing each and every one a Merry Christmas and a blessed and peaceful New Year 2023. Kindly relax and enjoy the rest of the evening with our kids' beautiful performances. Thank you once again.
In the beginning, the Almighty, all-powerful, omnipotent, and all-loving Creator created this beautiful universe. The Creator, whom we call God, so it was good. Established a fixed relationship between mankind and rest of creation. There was relationship between human activity and the whole of creation. All living beings, creatures, and nature lived together in harmony and peace. There was purity in the air and beauty in creation. Human beings, in all innocence and humbleness, lived in a simple lifestyle, caring not only for each other, but also for other creatures and nature. Gradually, people learn to cultivate the land and engage in other activities. selfishness and greed of individuals led them to dominate over the others. Their cunning mind began to exploit others. They began to lend money to the farmers. farmers were unable to return the money back to the landlords, they started to snatch their land and keep them under their thumb.
साहेब, ये गुना ने अब तक एक कौड़ी भी वापस नहीं की। ऊपर कहता है कि ये जमीन उसकी है।
क्या गुना? तुझे चर्बी चढ़ी है क्या? भूल गया क्या जब तुम पैसे मांगने आया था?
नहीं साहब, मैं आपका पैसा वापस करूंगा। मुझे मेरी जमीन वापस कीजिए।
कौन सी जमीन? कौन सी जमीन की बात कर रहे हो तुम, गंदी नाल के कीड़े?
साहब, साहब,
लेके जाओ उसे और फेंक दो बाहर।
साहब, साहब,
break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, chart it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jump and lock it, surf it, scroll it, pose it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, stop, format it. Technologic, technologic, technologic.
I know you got your own town. I know you got your
कर सकता मेरे यार
family, friends, and community. Peace starts in the individual as a state of mind, a perspective, a way of life, all things molded in the family. In the family, we are tested. Our patience and emotions can be pushed to their limits. In a family, there are any number of people. Each one has different conditions, likes and dislikes, expectations and aspirations.
Sunny, get me a glass of water, please. Can anyone give me a glass of water?
Oh, Dad, why are you screaming? I don't know what is wrong with these children. Instead of studying, they are all the time on the mobile. I'm tired taking care of the house. Everything is on my head. Keeping the house clean, washing clothes, marketing, sending them to school, and what not. Started.
Stress and aggression are directly linked. They both feed each other, thus creating a cycle of violence which spreads in the society in different forms. Is peace in the world between the nations. Climate change, terrorism, extremism, cyber attacks, the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, poverty, transborder crime, violent conflict leading to insecurity and migration are only some of the many factors that disrupt peace, leading to violent and deadly conflicts in parts of the world. At the heart of many violent conflicts lie issues of inequality, injustice, and exclusion. Instead, learn to kill your greed, anger, and ego. World peace cannot be achieved merely by enacting high-level policies. In this time, the earth, world, and the global human domain as a whole are undoubtedly infected with evil principles, evil motivations, and lacks will to bring the change that is now profoundly necessary. If we build a strong, united community, we can fight hate crime, conflict, and divisive forces. Only one force in the human domain on earth is great enough to counter the current evil. That one and only force is the intrinsic power of everybody, all at once. No single faction can possibly be effective. Evil can be countered only if the totality of human beings exist. No human power on earth is greater than everybody, all at once, the collective human force. The world peace is also threatened by lack of due respect for nature, by the plundering of natural resources, and by a progressive decline in the quality of life. ecological awareness for the development of peaceful society. Saint Francis of Assisi, a patron of ecology and also patron of our school, offers an example of genuine and deep respect for the integrity of creation. Saint Francis of Assisi was born in Italy in the year 1182. Inspired by God with a noble thought of loving and serving the poor and underprivileged, he, along with his companions, became friend of the poor, loved, admired, and cared for nature and animals, all God's creation. Saint Francis saw the image of God reflected in nature and in every creature. He invited all of creation, animals, plants, natural forces, even brother sun and sister moon, to give honor and praise to the Lord.
Selfish misery, brother wind and sister air, open my eyes to visions pure and fair, that I may see the glory around me. Of him I am part. I feel his love awakening my heart. Brother sun and sister moon, I now do see you. I can hear your tune. So much in love with all that I survey.
Saint Francis of Assisi was a man of peace. He dedicated his life to peace as a peacemaker. He constantly sought to create peace between people, families, and cities. The poor man of Assisi, as he was commonly called, gives us striking witness that when we are at peace with God, we are better able to devote ourselves to building up that peace with all creation, which is inseparable from peace among all peoples. Peace can only be achieved through free will, dialogue, empathy, mutual respect, understanding, tolerance, compassion, love, and forgiveness. It is our hope that the inspiration of Saint Francis of Assisi will help us to keep ever alive a sense of fraternity with humanity and with all those good and beautiful things which Almighty God has created. May we all strive to be instruments of peace.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon more. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving of ourselves that we receive, and in dying ever to eternal life. Oh, Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you.
May I have a light on the audience, please? My dear parents, I hope we have not disappointed you, have we? If not so, could you just join your hands together for these lovely kids? This is for you, my dear students and staff. Thank you, thank you, sir. Thank you.